And then as well, we're calling for the end of capitalism. Capitalism is a system that doesn't work. It consolidates wealth, and we see it so grossly epitomized in this society today.
The truth is that we're not getting paid enough. Working class has been robbed of all this wealth we've created.
And sound. This is love. As the record plays, love.
Hi there, folks. I'm Keegan Van Hook, and welcome to Us As We Are. In this episode, we're here in the Ashland Plaza, attending the May Day Worker Solidarity Rally. It promises to be very interesting and full of lots of provocative discussion, so come on, let's go see who we can talk to. Okay, first why don't you introduce yourself and explain why you're out here today.
I'm Eric Navickas. I'm working with our organization Housing Now. We're out here today celebrating May Day, May 1st, International Labor Day. It commemorates the Haymarket incident where in the 1860s, police shot down dozens of strikers striking for the 8-hour workday. So this is commemorated all over the world. The Labor Day that we celebrate is really a token holiday that has right-wing history, really associated with a big strike by Pullman workers outside of Chicago as well. And hundreds were shot down at that point. And as a concession, they created Labor Day and disassociated it with International Labor Day, which has always been May 1st, and created Labor Day in September. So it's really a token effort as a result of U.S. Marshals who shot down hundreds of protesters in Pullman, Illinois. And Pullman was one of the worst robber barons of his era who set up company towns and exploited his workers to the fullest. We're commemorating both that event and the Haymarket event. And then as well, we're calling for the end of capitalism. Capitalism is a system that doesn't work. It consolidates wealth, and we see it so grossly epitomized in this society today, where we have a very small minority of people who control the means of production, who own most of the capital, who have spread their influence across the globe, who continue to back up the U.S. military in their imperial wars and basically tax the working class to fund those imperial wars, so that the wealthy resource interests can continue to reap their enormous profits at the cost of international people all over and their sovereignty, their rights to self-rule. So that's why we're out here today.
Wow, big things. Okay, I guess I want to talk about replacing capitalism then. What do you think capitalism should be switched out with?
Oh, there's many different options. I feel that it is time to move forward with socialism. We really need to begin to nationalize our largest industries and begin to reinvest that money back into the people, into the working class, to assure that we don't live under this situation where you have to GoFundMe to pay for your medical care. We have an underfunded education system that doesn't fund higher education. We need to take control of the means of production and put it into the hands of the workers so that they're not exploited for profit. Profit is theft. Basically, profit is what the owner class takes from the working class when they exploit their labor. We need to put all of the profit back into the working class, increase wages, deal with all levels of social services. There is a breadth of different possibilities. Right now we need to begin just by taxing the wealthiest of our communities and putting that money into social services. But again, I think we need to go further and begin to nationalize the banking industry and the energy sector to put those profits into the hands of the working class.
All right, sir, why don't you please introduce yourself and explain what brings you out here today?
Oh, hello. Yeah, my name is Jason Houk, and I'm an organizer with Southern Oregon Jobs with Justice, and we're out celebrating May Day, solidarity with our working class, and specifically trying to show some solidarity, bring attention to the folks over in Klamath Falls, the teachers union over there, organizing for their first contract and getting a lot of pushback from the folks at the administration.
You are very active in the, around homelessness and homeless advocacy. Could you maybe explain some of your activities over the past few years and sort of who you've been in that world?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. In our organization, Southern Oregon Jobs with Justice, we've been in the community almost a dozen years, primarily working on working class issues like living wages, the right to organize. We supported the workers at the Ashland Co-op when they tried to form a union. Over the years, we had been, as different issues and pressures were impacting working class, were impacting our more vulnerable communities. We saw the housing crisis just squeezing and squeezing. We get calls from our members, help me, my rent's tripled. I can't afford it on a fixed income. I work over at Harry & David's. I only get part-time work. What can we do? So we did a lot of, petitioning, going to CPM, having rallies out here, trying to bring attention to the housing crisis and what it was doing to people. Fast forward a year or two, now we're working with those same folks. They're living in their cars. We're like, where can I sleep tonight and be safe? Where can I get food? Vanessa was going to the municipal court just to see what was going on, and she'd hear stories of mothers saying, I know I was arrested for shoplifting at the food co-op, but we're hungry. Our kids are hungry. We have no food. I'm sorry, it's wrong, but was the sad fact. So, we started doing more direct service stuff. We started organizing the Thanksgiving meals, and that's something our organizers, our volunteers are really excited about because, it's something people can do, and you see something at the end of it. So those first initial meals that we were organizing around Thanksgiving and Christmas turned into monthly community meals, which then turned into weekly community meals, and then now that during this COVID crisis, our group, along with the folks at Peace House and other community groups, are able to provide hot meals every day. Like I said, there's so many things we want to do. Food is one thing we can do. The Alameda fire has impacted so many more. 2,500 residents lost their homes. A lot of those are mobile home parks. We ourselves lost our home in that fire too. And suddenly, ourselves and other organizers, we're suddenly looking at all these problems from a whole different side of the table. Instead of delivering the service, we're now, asking for it. So, we're personally really blessed, and through the community support, we're able to stay and rebuild.
Okay, my name is Jessica Kensinger, and we are out here today to work on it's called LoveSong. It's basically a compilation of our different art, and this year we are doing a Camelot theme. So most of the signs are lines from Camelot. So it's basically it's a piece for peace and climate, or peace and sustainability. But it's basically things that heroes would say. We would have been standing over here and just facing the cars, but since Gaia is performing, we were doing it over here, so it's a little farther away from the police station. So we're taking up different roles. It's about the fact that there's a lot of people waiting for Jesus to come and save us, but in reality what we need to do is save ourselves, figure out ways to resolve our problems just with us and without need of the government. And so I have we did a love song in Cameroon over Holy Week in Cameroon, Africa. And you can see the photos at New World University. The Facebook page is New World University, hashtag LoveSong.
Okay, why don't you just start by each introducing yourselves?
Hi, my name's Stephen Essig. I'm the Secretary of Southern Oregon Democratic Socialist of America. We're a new chapter of the DSA, just started about a month and a half ago, so officially.
And I'm Steve Shapiro, and I'm one of the co-chairs of Southern California. I came from Southern California, Southern Oregon DSA, Democratic Socialists of America, and we're just getting going. So we're looking forward to more people joining us, and there's a whole bunch of people, including a group in SOU, who are the youth version of or chapter of DSA. So.
I guess so. First and foremost, what is a democratic socialist, and what is your organization, the Democratic Socialists of America, and what do you do and what do you advocate for?
Yeah, so Democratic Socialist is it's a left branch of the political spectrum, but really just represent like socialism and like leftism as a whole, but through a democratic process. It's horizontally run, so people can vote for what's going on. We have committees that work independently with each other, and our kind of idea is just to organize people, mobilize them into doing one of the big platform things we have, which is about labor equality, racial equity, housing is a big thing. The national DSA. Our big push right now is the PRO Act, the Green New Deal, and
he's stealing my thunder.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
I'll let him go.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
the one focusing a lot on that.
Yeah, we're working on the protect workers' right, protect the rights of to organize, the PRO Act, and that's basically to be able to have unions in the workplace and not have the bosses say, like they did in Amazon, like you can't organize here. Whereas when they get together, they have all you guys have to come here and listen to our propaganda, and you don't have a choice. Well, all that stuff is gone with the PRO Act. It's passed the House it's getting close to being passing the Senate, and I think once it does, Biden says he'll sign it. So I think right now there are like 2 senators away from getting it passed, and so hopefully in the next month or so you'll be hearing a lot about it. And then the Green New Deal, obviously. People have heard about it, but it's starting to get enacted in actually Biden. Some of what Biden is passing is coming straight from the proposal for the Green New Deal. Rebuild the infrastructure with green jobs, transition so people that are in the working in the coal industry can get new jobs in the tech industry for building clean jobs.
Now, what would socialism or any of these movements, what would that mean for here, Southern Oregon? What would that actually look like here in our community?
It would mean things like our schools are funded well. It would mean that we would not have homeless problems. It would mean that everyone would have access to housing. We have a huge crisis with large landlords owning housing. If we could nationalize housing, begin to put that back into the working class, we could deal without rent. Those are things that we'd see here, where people are housed without rent. We'd see a flourishing of our society, a huge opportunity for social change, and opportunity for creativity. I think that health and creativity is what comes out of socialism.
And so you organized this through the Housing Now movement, right?
Right.
So could you give me an update on like what Housing Now has been up to in the past few weeks, as well as any plans you might have for the next few weeks or next few months going into summer?
Right, we've been focusing on the issues of the unhoused right now. We are still continuing to push Ashland to find real solutions. They haven't been able to find real solutions. They have some of the worst elements of the crisis addressed, but we need them to fully address the problems of the unhoused people in our community. We're looking at the Hargadine Street Garage. We're trying to put forward a proposal for a large development above that would house up to 70 people with other facilities as well, including a communal kitchen and bathing facilities. So we're really pushing for that. It's such a serious crisis in our valley right now, especially after the fires that we have. So many people who are unhoused or underhoused or couch surfing. Through social investment, we can really address these problems. And that's what we're out here calling for right now, is for the people to take over a lot of the means of production in order to fund the services that we need. There's no reason that people should be profiting enormously off of the fact that they own someone else's house. Housing should be a basic human right. And this is one of the heaviest costs that our working people face. And if we could reach a point where we nationalize our banks, begin to address the problems of heavy mortgage burden, heavy rent, and give people free housing across the board, this would be an enormous boon for our society, where we could really see a new renaissance of creativity and health in our society.
What kinds of things do you believe? Eric was talking a lot about socialism, so I wondered if you had anything you wanted to say about that.
Right. Well, I know that a lot of the rule book that we all lived by, a lot of us have been going through a lot of the same motions, fighting the same fights for years and years and decades. And it seems that since this pandemic and since the economic crisis has gripped our nation, has changed the entire paradigm. And now things that were impossible we're doing them every day. Things that we fought the city and fought our forces that be to have just the permission to do, and they always said no. All we hear is we're hearing more yeses, we're hearing more maybes. So to me, it's like, all bets are off. We have there's no rules for what's happening next, because anything can happen. And what we learned from 2020 is, anything can happen. And in 2021, I'm hoping that it's an opportunity to seize, to reclaim our labor movement, because so much of the issues we're seeing regarding police violence and inequality and poverty, homelessness, has to do with the fact that the truth is that we're not getting paid enough. The working class has been robbed of all this wealth we've created. The United States, our nation, we're not poor. We are a wealthy nation. We have so much wealth and in the commons, and all of that our ancestors have fought for and bled for and committed atrocities for and then died for and built is being stolen. It's like by this wealthy elite, and I think the curtain's down. I mean, people we've known for a while how the system is cheated, how it's been gamed, and how much wealth is being hidden away. I mean, it's just locked under mattresses of 1%. It's insane. I think what we're doing is we've lost faith in those systems, so we're just building our new systems. And that always works. And so I think that's what we're doing, and that's what I have hope for.
And so then locally, what has your movement been doing just here in Southern Oregon?
Yeah, our primary goal here in the valley is housing, of course. With the fire, even before that, Oregon was in a housing crisis. The valley had a lot of people who were homeless, and so we're doing a lot of housing advocacy. We have a few people who are working in different places. We have people down in Hawthorne who help out with mutual aid stuff. We have people working down at Judy's, the mobile warming shelter. We have people who are on the city council. We have people who are in housing commissions. So we have a lot of people who are working in different aspects, and so we're kind of just a place where people can share what they're doing, how they're organizing individually, and so that we can push people to different directions and try to organize where people are needed. So big thing right now that we're really pushing or talking about is Monday, Chief Clausen Medford said that they're going to be doing 72-hour notices for people camping on the Greenway. So we're trying to get that information out there so people can stay safe and find safe place to lodge. And also how to get information if you see an encampment raid happening, who to call so that they can get support. So we have partnerships with a few different organizations and just trying to share information about that. So.
And we actually have a couple of branches. So we're the Jackson branch here in Ashland and Medford, but there's also a Klamath branch, and they're working on supporting the strike of OIT workers there, and some of our guys are actually working on on that as well. So, yep, and they're working on Internet for All campaign to get internet to the rural communities. So that's a big push out there.
A few weeks ago, I think, we got the news that Ashland had received a grant for around $300,000 to build the urban campground here, and plans for that seem to be moving forward at some pace. How do you react to that news that an urban campground could be built here in Ashland?
Yeah, I think that's a great step in the right direction. I don't think urban campgrounds are a real solution, though. People should not be living in camping facilities, especially during winter months. We need real housing to address people's needs. People need a place to shower, a place to cook their meals. People living in canvas tents or nylon tents is not my vision of a solution, but I'm glad to see that they are beginning to make some effort to address the crisis that is so acute as a result, ultimately, of our capitalist system that really consolidates wealth and leaves an underclass. In fact, there's interest in maintaining an underclass because you create a surplus of labor where wages go down because you have all these people looking for jobs, so wages drop. So there's an interest in the ruling class in maintaining this underclass of people, and that's what we're really fighting to see a change to.
How does this connect with the theme of the gathering here today around labor and May Day and all of that?
Well, we actually didn't know that they were going to be here, but we're really excited about it. It really fits in perfectly, and it's really about the same thing, workers of the world uniting. It's the same as, just regular people getting together and not waiting for anyone else to say, hey, it's time. And we've known about climate, we've known about global warming for my whole entire adult life, but I just don't see a lot of people getting out there and saying, hey, we can do it, we could figure something out together. And I think that we can. And I've been just gathering up people throughout the years to do fun roles. So it's a satire of the apocalypse. So basically we're pretending like this is the end times and we are the heroes of the universe and we're going to get together and figure it out. So this is just a, hey, we're here type thing, this particular thing today.
Cool. Well, I want to thank you for talking to me. And is there anything else that you want to talk about before we go?
No, that's it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
With this being the International Workers' Day, there's plenty of research out there that shows that as union membership goes down, wealth inequality goes up. The Economic Policy Institute has a really great graph, but basically you can see ever since 1980, when Reagan really was anti-union and pushing union, doing union busting tactics, wealth inequality has just skyrocketed. I know right now they say that compared to the French Revolution, wealth inequality is higher than it was during the French Revolution. And that's the thing, is there's consequences to that. And things are going to happen if that doesn't get fixed. If people are in poverty, that's when they make rash decisions. We know poverty is directly related to crime. If you need food, you're going to get your food. You're going to survive, and that's going to affect everybody. So we really want to see wages go up. We want to see union membership go up because there's a direct correlation to that wealth inequality. And again, we live in the most powerful, richest country in the world. There's no reason people should be afraid of being homeless or not having adequate health care. So.
I want to.
I guess the one last thing to say about it is that we should not be in these endless wars, and the military budget had, even on the Biden, has increased from Trump's budget, which is outrageous, and again, that money should be put into schools, should be put into housing, should be put into the needs of regular working people, and not sending people off around the world to fight to protect oil or other corrupt governments like the Saudis.
All right. Well, I want to thank you both for talking to me today. From each of you, is there any last little tidbit that you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is to keep your eye out for encampment sweeps. We have a number of things that we'll be posting on our page about how to commit to protecting our unhoused neighbors. Biggest thing is to not call the police when when you see an encampment. Because there's a lot of PTSD with what happens to police or to people who've been affected by police. And it's really just people trying to survive. And if you can't help them with their material conditions right there, then it's not something that you should be worried about. So we really want people to go out and help people and not to be harmful and calling 911.
Authentic leftism begins with a willingness to look at progressive options of taxation, and that means taxing these hillside mansions. I mean, it's incredible the amount of wealth in this community, and the fact that we're facing budget crisis after budget crisis is just repulsive. We should be addressing all of our budgetary needs and going further to find solutions to things like this crisis of homelessness. And, it comes back to haunt us if we don't deal with these problems anyway. I mean, downtown we have problems with conflicts with tourists, business owners, and the unhoused community. We've seen fires likely started by people who are unhoused. It's a constant risk to have a large number of people camping around the city. If we can get a progressive slate of candidates who are willing to really do what it takes to address the crisis of homelessness, get people who are willing to tax these high-end property owners, look at their square footages of their houses and put taxes on their square footages, we can easily address this problem without even putting that much burden on these people with this excessive wealth. We're not talking about some real socialist revolution there. We are talking about modest transitional demands that could really make a huge difference in addressing this crisis.
Okay, folks, that's going to do it for this episode of Us As We Are. As always, very interesting conversation out here in the plaza with the citizens of Ashland. Before I go, I do, of course, want to mention that we have a Patreon. So if you like what we're doing with this show and want to see us doing more of it, please consider offering us your support. It really does make a difference. Members of our Patreon get access to our exclusive Us As We Cast recap podcast, where myself and the crew of this show discuss the events we document here, but from our perspective. Additionally, we'll be uploading various bonus materials to Patreon from time to time, so if you're curious about that, that's patreon.com/SailorBoyMedia. Additionally, we're uploading these full-length programs on YouTube, but we're also airing interstitial versions of Us As We Are on Southern Oregon PBS. If you want to know more about that, go to sopbs.org/usasweare. With that, folks, I've been Keegan Van Hook. This is Us As We Are, and we'll see you in the next one.
As always, a special thanks to our Patreon major supporters, Adam, Alex Zendejas, Amy E. Van Hook, Bethany McKenzie, Daniel Van Hook, and Robin Jossie.